Admiral Jun Kim stood in front of the large window of Earth Defense Headquarters. He looked at the stars and wondered what secrets they held. 40 years of space exploration had taught humans that the universe was bigger than they ever imagined. But nothing had prepared them for today. "Admiral," said a voice behind him. "They are waiting for you." Jun turned to see his assistant, Han. The young officer looked worried. "Thank you, Han. Tell them I will be there in 1 minute." Han nodded and left. Jun took a deep breath and straightened his uniform. The weight of Earth's future rested on his shoulders today. The meeting room was full when Jun entered. "President." Hannah Park sat at the head of the table, her face serious. General Tae Lee stood by a large screen, his hands behind his back. Dr. Jin Song, Earth's top expert on alien languages, was typing on a tablet. 5 other government leaders filled the remaining seats. "Admiral Kim," President Hannah said, "please, take a seat. We need to discuss the message." Jun sat down and looked at the screen. On it was a strange symbol, a circle with 7 lines cutting through it. "Dr. Song," Hannah said, "please show the Admiral the full message again." Jin touched his tablet and the strange symbol was replaced by words. Jun read them slowly. "To the developing species of Sol 3, Earth, the Galactic Council has observed your rapid technological advancement with concern. Your species has moved from basic flight to faster-than-light travel in less than 200 years. This rate of development is dangerous and must be controlled. The Council hereby orders Earth to 1. Surrender all military space vessels. 2. Stop all faster-than-light research. 3. Accept Council supervisors in all government bodies. 4. Limit space exploration to your own solar system. You have 30 standard cycles to comply. If you do not, the Council will take steps to ensure compliance. This decision is final." The Galactic Council, rulers of the 7 sectors, Jun read the message 3 times. Each time, the words made him angrier. "When did we receive this?" He asked. 12 hours ago, General Tae said. "It came through all communication channels at once. Every government on Earth got the same message at the same time." "Do we know who sent it?" Jun asked. Jin shook his head. "They call themselves the Galactic Council, but we have no records of such a group. The message came from somewhere near the center of the galaxy." "Could it be fake?" Jun asked. "A joke or a test?" "We don't think so," President Hannah said. "The technology needed to send this message to every nation at once is beyond our capabilities. Someone out there wants us to think they have power over us." "And the 30 standard cycles?" Jun asked. "Based on the star they mention in another part of the message, we think it means 30 Earth days," Jin said. General Tae hit the table with his fist. "This is an attack on Earth's freedom. They want us to give up our ships, our research, our independence. The question is who they are," President Hannah said calmly, "and what power they really have." "Dr. Song," Jun said, "what else can you tell us about this Galactic Council?" Jin touched his tablet again, and a new image appeared on the screen. It showed a map of the galaxy with several areas marked in different colors. "Based on the message and the signal it came from, we think the Galactic Council controls these areas." Jin pointed to the colored sections. "That's about 40% of the known galaxy." "So many stars," Jun whispered. "So many worlds. How have we never heard of them before?" "We are very new to space," Jin said. "We have only explored a tiny part of our own arm of the galaxy. The Council has probably been watching us for a long time." "But why contact us now?" Jun asked. "The message mentions our rapid technological advancement," Hannah said. "Our newest ships can travel 10 times faster than the ones we built just 10 years ago. Maybe that scared them. Or maybe they don't like competition," General Tae said. "Maybe they want to stop us before we become too strong." Jun looked at the message again. "What do we know about their military power?" "Nothing for sure," General Tae said. "But if they control that much of the galaxy, they must have many ships and weapons. Can we fight them?" President Hannah asked. "Directly." General Tae looked uncomfortable. "We have 200 warships, Most are designed to fight other human ships. We don't know what weapons the Council has. So we might lose, Hana said. Yes, Tay admitted. But we might also win. We don't know. June stood up and walked to the screen. He touched the map, zooming in on Earth's small corner of the galaxy. We have another option, he said. We can talk to them. Talk? General Tay sounded surprised. They are threatening us. Yes, June said, but threats often come from fear. They fear us for some reason. If we can understand why, maybe we can find a peaceful solution. President Hana looked thoughtful. What do you suggest, Admiral? Let me send a response, June said. Not accepting their demands, but not rejecting them either. Let's invite them to meet with us, to discuss their concerns face to face. And if they refuse, General Tay asked, then we know they are not interested. In peace, June said, and we prepare for the worst. President Hana looked around the table. The other leaders nodded slowly. Very well, Admiral Kim, she said. Draft your message, but also begin quiet preparations for defense. If this Galactic Council wants to control us, they will learn that humans do not surrender easily. June nodded and left the room. As he walked back to his office, he felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer, and it was more complicated than anyone had imagined. In his office, June sat at his desk and began to write. The words came easily. To the Galactic Council, Earth acknowledges your message. We are surprised to learn of your existence as we are new to interstellar travel and communication. We do not understand why our development concerns you, but we wish to learn. We invite Council representatives to Earth for peaceful talks to discuss your concerns and our future role in the galaxy. Earth desires peace with all species, but we must maintain our independence and right to grow. We hope the Council shares our wish for understanding and cooperation. We await your response. Admiral June Kim, Earth Defense Coalition. June read over his words. They were respectful, but firm. He hoped they would be enough to start a conversation, instead of a war. As he sent the message, June looked out his window at the night sky. Somewhere out there, an ancient power had noticed Earth. For better or worse, humanity was now part of something much bigger than itself. The question was whether Earth would join the galactic community as an equal, or have to fight for its right to exist free. 3 days after Earth sent its response, a ship appeared in orbit. There was no warning, no flash of light, no disturbance in space. One moment there was nothing, and the next moment the ship was there, as if it had always been there. Sensor. Report, Admiral June Kim demanded, staring at the main screen of Earth Defense Command. Officer Min looked up from her console, her face pale. Sir, the ship is approximately 2 kilometers long. It appears to be made of some kind of crystal or advanced metal. Our scans can't penetrate its hull. Weapons status? General Tay asked, standing beside June. Unknown, sir, Min replied, but it's positioned directly above our headquarters. If they wanted to attack, she didn't need to finish. Everyone in the room knew Earth would have little defense against a ship that could appear without warning. They're sending a transmission, announced Communications Officer Park. Audio and visual. June nodded. Put it on screen. The main screen flickered, and an image appeared. The being on screen was not what anyone expected. It was small, perhaps 4 feet tall, with smooth blue-green skin that seemed to shimmer. It had 4 slender arms and a delicate face with large dark eyes that reminded June of deep space. Greetings, representatives of Earth, the alien said, its voice melodic and clear. The words were in perfect Earth Standard language. I am Baum, emissary of the Galactic Council. I am authorized to discuss your response to our directive. June stepped forward. Emissary Baum, I am Admiral June Kim of the Earth Defense Coalition. Thank you for answering our invitation for talks. Baum tilted her head slightly. Your invitation was unexpected. Most developing species accept Council directives without question. Humans tend to ask questions, June said carefully. We would like to understand the Council's concerns about Earth. Understanding can be arranged. Bomb replied. I propose a meeting in neutral territory. Your lunar base would be acceptable. June glanced at President Hana, who had just entered the room. She gave a small nod. We agree, June said. When would you like to meet? I will arrive at your lunar facility in 6 of your hours, Bomb said. I will come alone as a gesture of peaceful intent. You may bring 3 representatives. The screen went dark before June could respond. Well, said General Tay, at least they're willing to talk. Yes, President Hana said. But notice they didn't ask if we accepted their terms. They only want to discuss our response. They're used to being obeyed, June said. This may be the first time a species has questioned their authority. Who should go to the meeting? Asked General Tay. Admiral Kim will lead, President Hana decided. Dr. Jinsong will attend as our language expert, and I will go as Earth's political representative. General Tay frowned. Madam President, we don't know if it's safe. Which is why you will stay here, General, Hana said firmly. If something happens to us, Earth will need your leadership. Giu. Hours later, June stood in the reception area of Lunar Base Alpha, watching through the dome window as a small craft separated from the massive council ship and descended toward the moon. Unlike Earth ships, it made no sound and left no trail as it flew. Amazing technology, Dr. Jinsong whispered beside him. They must be thousands of years ahead of us. That doesn't mean they're right, President Hana said, straightening her formal jacket. Age doesn't always bring wisdom. The council craft landed on the pad outside the base. A few moments later, the airlock doors opened, and Emissary Bomb stepped through. She was even smaller in person, barely reaching June's chest, but something about her presence filled the room. Emissary Bomb, June said with a small bow. Welcome to Luna. This is President Hana Park, leader of the Earth Coalition, and Dr. Jin Song, our expert in languages and communication. Bomb made a graceful gesture with her forearms. Your hospitality honors the council. Shall we proceed to discussions? They moved to a small conference room with a round table. Through the windows, Earth hung large and blue in the black sky. Your world is beautiful, Bomb said, looking at Earth. The council has records of its development for over 4 billion years. You've been watching us that long? Jin asked, surprised. The council monitors all worlds with potential for intelligent life, Bomb explained. Most species are observed for millions of years before they develop space travel. And then you contact them and tell them to stop developing? President Hana asked directly. Bomb turned her large eyes to Hana. We guide them to develop safely. Your species is concerning because you do not follow normal patterns. What normal patterns? June asked. Most species take at least 2,000 years from their first flight machines to reach space. You did it in 66 years, Bomb said. Most take 5,000 years from first space travel to faster-than-light technology. You did it in less than 100. We learn quickly, June said. Too quickly, Bomb replied. It is like giving a child a weapon. You have the technology, but not the wisdom to use it properly. President Hana leaned forward. With respect, Emissary, we are not children. We have our own history, our own values, our own path. That is precisely the concern, Bomb said. Your path is chaotic, unpredictable. The Council exists to ensure galaxy-wide stability. By controlling other species? Jin asked. By guiding them, Bomb corrected. There were terrible wars before the Council formed 20,000 years ago. Entire planets destroyed. Species wiped out. The Council prevents such tragedies. By taking away freedom? President Hana asked. Bomb's expression was hard to read. Is chaos better than order? Is unpredictability better than safety? Sometimes yes, June said. Growth requires some chaos. Change requires taking risks. And that, Bomb said quietly, is why humans concern the Council so deeply. You embrace chaos and risk. In the galaxy, those qualities have often led to destruction. They have also led to our greatest achievements, Jin added. Our art, our science, our understanding of the universe. Bomb was silent for a moment, studying them. The Council has authorized me to offer a compromise. Earth may maintain limited self-government if you accept council supervisors in your major institutions and agree to technology restrictions. What? Restrictions? June asked. No weapons in space. Limited faster-than-light travel. No AI development. No dimensional research. Bomb listed. Standard protections for developing worlds? President Hana shook her head. That is not compromise. That is control with a friendlier name. It is the Council's final offer, Bomb said, her voice gentle but firm. We have dealt with resistant species before. What happened to them? June asked directly. For the first time, Bomb looked uncomfortable. They are no longer factors in galactic affairs. A heavy silence filled the room. Is that a threat? President Hana asked. It is history, Bomb replied. The Council has maintained peace for 20,000 years. That peace will continue. June studied the small alien. Despite her size and delicate appearance, she carried the weight of an ancient power, but he saw something else in her eyes. Not cruelty or hatred, but genuine concern. Emissary Bomb, he said carefully. You truly believe you're protecting us, don't you? Of course, Bomb said, sounding surprised at the question. The Council's purpose is protection, even if those being protected don't want it? Jin asked. Often, developing species do not understand what is best for their long-term survival, Bomb said. The Council has the perspective of millennia. President Hana stood up. We appreciate your concerns, Emissary. But Earth must find its own way, make its own mistakes, and determine its own future. That is your final response? Bomb asked. No, June said quickly. We need time to discuss your offer with Earth's full leadership. We ask for 48 hours to prepare our official answer. Bomb considered this, then nodded. 2 of your days will be permitted. I will await your response on my ship. As the emissary left the room, Jin turned to June. What are you thinking, Admiral? We already know we can't accept their terms. I'm thinking, June said, watching Bomb's ship rise silently from the lunar surface, that we need to respond in a way the Council has never seen before. If we fight, we lose. If we surrender, we lose. So we need a third option. What third option? President Hana asked. June smiled grimly. One that shows the Galactic Council exactly who they're dealing with. For the next 36 hours, Earth was busy, very busy. Admiral June Kim had barely slept. He stood in the main control room of Earth Defense Headquarters, surrounded by screens showing teams working around the planet. Scientists, engineers, artists, philosophers, and leaders from every nation were connected in a massive effort, unlike anything in human history. Status report, June said, his voice rough from too much coffee and too little rest. Dr. Jin Song looked up from his workstation. The communication system is ready. We can broadcast to every star system within 100 light-years using the Council's own communication protocols. How did you crack their system so quickly? Asked General Tay, who stood nearby reviewing defense plans. Jin smiled. We didn't crack it. We studied the signal from their first message. Their technology is advanced, but the basic principles are the same as ours, just much more refined. On another screen, President Hana Park was speaking. To world leaders, many looked worried, but they were nodding in agreement with whatever she was saying. The data package is complete, announced Director Sun from the Science Division. All content has been translated into both Earth Standard and what we believe is the Council's main language. And our backup plan? June asked quietly to General Tay. Ready, Tay replied, though I still think it's mostly a bluff. Sometimes a good bluff is all you need, June said, as long as they can't be sure. 12 hours before their deadline, June sent a message to the Council ship. Emissary Bomb, we are ready to deliver Earth's response. We request a meeting on Luna Base. The reply came quickly. Granted. I will meet your delegation in 3 hours. This time when Bomb entered the lunar conference room, she found not just 3 humans waiting, but a small crystal cube sitting on the table. What is this? She asked, looking at the cube. June gestured to the seats. Please, emissary. That cube contains Earth's official response to the Council, but before we give it to you, we would like to explain what it is. Bomb sat down, her 4 arms folding in what seemed to be a formal posture. Proceed, President. Hana leaned forward. Emissary, your council has watched Earth for millions of years, but you have never truly seen us. This cube contains who we are. Not just our technology or our weapons or our science, but our heart. I do not understand, Bomb said. Jin touched a control, and the cube lit up. Above it appeared a hologram showing Earth's greatest art. Paintings, sculptures, music, dance, literature. The images changed rapidly, showing thousands of years of human creativity. This is part of who we are, Jin explained. Our art, our dreams, our imagination. The hologram shifted to show scientific discoveries, mathematical equations, medical breakthroughs. This is also who we are, Jin continued. Our quest to understand the universe, to heal, to learn. Next came images of Earth's darkest moments, wars, environmental destruction, hatred and violence. And this too is who we are, June said quietly. Our failures, our mistakes. But then the images changed again, showing how humans rebuilt after wars, how enemies became friends, how damaged environments were restored. Most importantly, President Hana said, this is who we are. We learn from our mistakes, we grow, we change, we do better. Bomb watched the display, her large eyes reflecting the changing images. This is not what I expected. There's more, June said. We have prepared this message not just for you, but for every spacefaring civilization within 100 light years. While we've been talking, Earth has been broadcasting this data package using the same communication technology the Council used to contact us. For the first time, Bomb looked alarmed. You have been broadcasting? To whom? To everyone who can. Here, Jin said simply. Including species under Council protection. We are introducing ourselves to the galaxy on our own terms. That is forbidden, Bomb said, standing up. Developing species must be carefully guided in their introduction to Galactic Society. We're guiding ourselves, President Hana said firmly, and offering direct contact to any civilization that wishes it, without the Council as gatekeeper. The Council will not allow this, Bomb said, her voice harder than before. That brings us to the second part of our response, June said, touching another control. The hologram changed to show technical diagrams of a system Earth scientists had named the Threshold Defense Network. When your ship arrived in Earth orbit, we noticed something interesting, June explained. You don't use engines like we do. You don't push through space. You step between dimensions. Bomb went very still. Our scientists observed the energy patterns. When your ship appeared, Jin added. They developed this system based on those observations. It creates a dimensional barrier around our solar system. In simple terms, June said, it means no ships can enter or leave Earth space without our permission, including your ship, emissary. This is impossible, Bomb whispered. Such technology is beyond your development level. We told you, President Hana said. Humans learn quickly. What June didn't say was that the system wasn't fully operational. Earth scientists had indeed observed the Council ship's arrival and developed the theory. A prototype was under construction, but it would take months to complete. However, the Council had no way to know that. Earth does not want conflict with the Council, June said more gently. But we will not surrender our freedom or our future, so we propose a third option. President Hana continued. Earth will join the galactic community as an equal partner, not a subject. We offer our creativity, our science, our unique perspective, freely shared with all species. In exchange, Jin said, we ask only that our independence be respected. Bomb looked at each of them, her alien face hard to read. The Council has never accepted such terms from a developing world. Then perhaps, June suggested, it's time for the Council itself to evolve. Bomb picked up the crystal cube. I must take this to the full Council. What you propose is without precedent. So are we. President Hana said with a small smile. As though Bomb prepared to leave, June walked with her to the airlock. Emissary, may I ask a personal question? Bomb tilted her head. You may. In our brief time together, you've seen just a small part of human culture. What do you think of us, not as a council representative, but as an individual? Bomb was silent for a long moment. You are not what I expected, Admiral Kim. You are more creative than logical, more passionate than practical. This makes you dangerous, yes, but also interesting. Is interesting so bad? June asked. The council values stability above all, Bomb replied. Interesting species tend to create change. Change isn't always bad, June said. The council was formed after the Great Devastation, Bomb said quietly. Billions died when aggressive species spread unchecked through the galaxy. The council's purpose is to prevent such tragedy from happening again. I understand, June said. But there's a difference between preventing destruction and preventing growth. The council seems to fear both equally. Bomb studied him with her deep, dark eyes. Perhaps that is a fair observation. I will convey your message to the full council. How long will that take? Time moves differently in the dimensional spaces where the council meets, Bomb said. But for you, no more than 3 of your days. After Bomb's ship departed, June returned to the conference room where President Hana and Jin waited. Do you think it worked? Jin asked. I don't know, June admitted, but we've done something no species has done before. We didn't fight, and we didn't surrender. We showed them who we really are, President Hana said. Not just our strength, but our heart. And now? General Tay asked from the doorway, having just arrived from Earth. June looked out the window at the stars. Now we wait, and hope that somewhere in that ancient council, someone is willing to see humanity not as a threat to be controlled, but as a partner to be welcomed. And if they aren't? Tay pressed. June's expression hardened. Then we prove that humans aren't just creative and passionate. We're also very, very determined. Across the galaxy, on worlds that had been under council guidance for thousands of years, beings of many shapes and forms were receiving an unexpected message from an unknown species called humans, and for the first time in millennia, they were wondering if there might be another way to exist in the galaxy. Not under the council's careful control, but as free and equal partners in a much bigger conversation. The Galactic Council had thought they controlled everything. Then Earth replied. For the first time in almost 5,000 years, the full Galactic Council gathered in person. The council chamber existed in a special place, slightly outside normal space. It was a vast room with walls that seemed to shift and change, showing stars and galaxies moving slowly. 9 tall chairs formed a circle in the center, each made from materials native to the homeworlds of the council members. High Counselor Sung was the oldest member. He had served for 1,200 years and had seen many species rise and fall. His body was tall and thin, with skin that glowed softly in the dim light of the chamber. He looked at his fellow council members with ancient, tired eyes. This emergency session will now begin, he announced, his voice echoing in the chamber. Emissary Bomb, please present your report on the Earth situation. Bomb stood in the center of the circle, looking small but confident. The crystal cube from Earth floated beside her. Honored counselors, she began. 3 days ago, by Earth time, I received the official response from the humans. It was unexpected. She activated the cube, and the holographic display appeared above it, showing the same images and information she had seen at the lunar base. For the next hour, the council watched in silence as Earth revealed itself through art, science, history, and hope. When the display finally ended, the council chamber was quiet for several long moments. Is this everything? Asked Counselor Min, her crystalline body glittering with what seemed like agitation. Min was the second oldest member, having served for 900 years. No, Bomb replied. The humans have also been broadcasting this information to every system within 100 light years, including our protectorate worlds. That is a direct violation of Protocol 7, said Counselor Doe, the youngest member at only 300 years old. Unlike the others, Du looked almost human, though his purple skin and silver eyes marked him as a member of the Loran species. Furthermore, Baum continued, they claim to have developed technology that can block our dimensional translation abilities. Impossible, Counselor Min said immediately. Such technology requires at least level 8 development. Earth is barely at level 3. I saw their plans, Baum said. Their scientists observed the energy patterns when our ship arrived. They reverse-engineered the basic principles very quickly. Can it work? High Counselor Sung asked directly. Unknown, Baum admitted. But even if it only works partially, it could make any military action against Earth difficult. So, Counselor Sung summarized, Earth has refused our guidance, created a potential defense against our ships, and is now directly contacting worlds under our protection, all in less than 1 week. This is precisely why developing worlds need control, Counselor Min said. They move too quickly, act too rashly without understanding the consequences. Or perhaps, Counselor Du suggested, it shows why our approach needs reconsideration. All eyes turned to the youngest member. Explain, Sung requested. I have reviewed their broadcast in detail, Du said. Their art, their history, their sciences. They are different from us, yes, but not necessarily wrong. They value individual creativity and collective growth. They make mistakes, learn from them, and move forward. In some ways, they have achieved in centuries what took our founder species millennia. Because they take dangerous shortcuts, Minnie argued. They develop technology before they have the wisdom to use it properly. Maybe, Du said. Or maybe our definition of proper use is too narrow. In 20,000 years, has the Council ever considered that our way might not be the only right way? The silence that followed was uncomfortable. What of the other Protectorate worlds? Asked another counselor, a floating being made of what looked like blue gas. 4 have already requested direct contact with Earth based on the human broadcast. Which proves the danger, Min said. This human chaos will spread. Baum stepped forward again. If I may, honored counselors, the humans offered a third option beyond acceptance or rejection of our terms. They propose partnership rather than subjugation. They offer to share their innovation and perspective in exchange for autonomy. The Council does not partner with level 3 worlds, Min said dismissively. Perhaps that is our mistake, Du replied. High Counselor Sung raised a hand for silence. Let us consider our options clearly. If we reject this human proposal completely, what are our choices? Military intervention, Counselor Min said promptly. We have the power to enforce our will. With their broadcast already spreading throughout the sector? Du asked. Using force would only validate their concerns about us to other species, and if their defense technology functions even partially, Baum added, a conflict could last much longer than we would want. Sung closed his ancient eyes for a moment. In 20,000 years, the Council has prevented countless wars, guided hundreds of species to peaceful development, and maintained stability. We have done all this through careful control and management of developing worlds. He opened his eyes and looked at the cube, still floating in the center of the chamber. Yet I find myself wondering if humans might be right. Have we been protecting the galaxy or simply controlling it? Both, Baum said simply. But perhaps the balance has shifted too far toward control and away from protection. What do you recommend, emissary? Sung asked. A trial period, Baum suggested. Allow Earth limited partnership status. Let them demonstrate this contribution they promise. Maintain certain safeguards, but give them a chance to prove themselves. And the other Protectorate worlds requesting contact with Earth? Asked the gaseous counselor. Allow it, Du said before Baum could answer. Under Council observation. If the humans truly wish to be responsible members of galactic society, let them begin by respecting our concerns while we respect their autonomy. This is highly irregular, Min protested. So are humans, Baum replied. High Counselor Sung looked at each council member in turn. Most seemed uncertain, but not outright opposed. Only Min appeared truly against the idea. I have served on this council for 1,200 years, Sung said finally. In that time I have seen 7 species refuse our guidance. Each time we declared them threats to galactic stability. Each time we took action to remove that threat. And each time I wondered if we truly exhausted all possibilities before deciding on conflict. He touched a control on his chair, and the walls of the chamber changed to show Earth, a beautiful blue planet spinning in the blackness of space. The humans are correct about one thing, he continued. The Council itself must be willing to evolve. Prepare a response to Earth. We will offer conditional partnership status for a trial period of 5 Earth years. They may demonstrate this equal contribution they promise, but make it clear that safeguards will remain in place. After the Council session ended, Counselor Du approached Baum privately. You support the humans, he observed. I do, Baum admitted. At first I saw them as dangerous, but after studying their history and meeting their leaders, I found something unexpected. They have nearly destroyed themselves multiple times through war, through hatred, through environmental damage. Yet each time they pulled back from the edge, learned, and grew. Their capacity for both creation and destruction is remarkable. You admire them, Du realized. I do, Baum said, and I fear them. But mostly, I wonder what the galaxy might become if we learn from each other rather than simply imposing our will. Du nodded. I will be assigned to work directly with Earth during the trial period. I request that you continue as primary contact. Why? Baum asked, surprised. Because, Du said with a small smile. Like humans, you ask questions. And perhaps, that is exactly what the Council has needed for a very long time. 1 year after Earth's first contact with the Galactic Council, Admiral June Kim stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station. The large space station orbited Earth, serving as a meeting place for humans and visitors from other worlds. Through the wide windows, June could see ships coming and going. Some were human designs, but many were alien vessels from a dozen different species. Quite a change from last year, said a musical voice behind him. June turned to find Ambassador Baum approaching. The small blue-green alien had remained Earth's main contact with the Council over the past year. She was now a familiar sight on the station. Indeed, June agreed, though not without challenges. The past year had been full of changes. After the Council had offered Earth a 5-year trial as a conditional partner, things moved quickly. 3 other species under Council protection had asked for similar arrangements. Trade routes between worlds were created. Cultural exchanges began, sometimes awkwardly, as species that had been kept apart by Council rules now met directly. The Council is still adjusting, Baum admitted. Some members believe we have started something that cannot be controlled. Have you? June asked, genuinely curious. Perhaps, Baum said thoughtfully. But I am beginning to think some chaos is necessary for growth. My species evolved in perfectly calm pools of water. We developed slowly, without disruption. It took us 50,000 years to reach space. And we did it in less than 300, June said. Because you had to, Baum replied. Your world constantly challenged you. Dangerous animals, changing weather, competing groups. You evolved to adapt quickly or die. They stood in comfortable silence, watching as a group of Threxians entered the station. The Threxians were a species that had been under strict council, control for 3,000 years. They walked on 6 legs and had eyes that looked like crystals. This was their first diplomatic mission to Earth, and they moved with obvious excitement looking at everything around them. The defense network, Baum said suddenly. It never fully worked, did it? June smiled slightly. It worked in theory. The actual building of it was still in progress. A bluff, Baum said, sounding almost impressed. A demonstration of potential, June corrected. And now, with Council cooperation, it is becoming real, though used for navigation safety rather than defense. Humans, Baum said, shaking her head. You take such risks. It is who we are, June replied. We reach beyond what we can grasp. Sometimes we fall, but sometimes we fly. On the deck below, a human child was showing a young Threxian how to make a paper airplane. The Threxian watched in wonder as the simple folded paper glided through the air. High Counselor Sung is stepping down, Baum said, after 1,500 years of service. I heard, June replied. Will Counselor Du take his place? Yes, Baum confirmed. His first plan is to change the Council from a controlling body to a coordinating one. Member species would keep their freedom while agreeing to basic principles of cooperation. Similar to Earth's United Nations? Partly, Baum admitted, though we hope to avoid some of its problems. June laughed. As do we. Below them, the Threxian child had made its own paper airplane. It threw the paper with all 6 of its limbs, producing a wobbly but successful flight that made both children happy. The doors to the observation deck opened, and President Hana Park entered, accompanied by Dr. Jin Song and several other human leaders. With them was Counselor Do, now the new head of the Galactic Council. Admiral Kim, President Hana called. The signing ceremony is about to begin. June nodded. We will be right there. The ceremony would mark the official signing of the Harmony Accords, a new agreement between Earth's 7 formerly isolated worlds and the Galactic Council. The Accords created a framework for cooperation that balanced freedom with responsibility. It will not be easy, June said to Baum as they walked toward the main hall. Freedom is never simple. No, Baum agreed. But after 20,000 years of perfect order, I find I'm looking forward to some beautiful chaos. The main hall of Harmony Station was filled with representatives from many worlds. The circular room had been designed to show that no species or planet was more important than others. Earth leaders stood with alien diplomats, talking through translator devices or in newly learned alien languages. High on the walls, screens showed people watching the ceremony from Earth and other planets. Millions across the galaxy were seeing species come together as equals for the first time. President Hana stepped to the center of the room. Today marks a new chapter in galactic history, she said. Not one written by a single authority, but by many voices working together. Counselor Du joined her. Unlike most council members, he had embraced public appearances. His purple skin and silver eyes made him stand out among the gathered representatives. For 20,000 years, the Galactic Council guided the development of countless worlds, Du said. We believed control was necessary for peace. Earth showed us another way. He gestured to the human delegation. They reminded us that true growth comes not from perfect order, but from the freedom to make mistakes, to learn, and to create. The Harmony Accords preserve the Council's goal of peace while respecting each species' right to find their own path. The agreement itself was simple. Member worlds promised to respect each other's borders, share scientific knowledge for the common good, protect developing species without controlling them, and resolve conflicts through discussion rather than force. After the signing, June found himself standing with Baum and Counselor Du. Did you expect this outcome when you first contacted Earth? June asked Du. The counselor laughed, a musical sound. Not at all. We expected you to surrender like every other species, or to fight and lose. Your third option surprised everyone. What happens now? June asked. Now comes the hard part, Du replied. Making this new partnership work. There will be problems, disagreements, maybe even conflicts. But we will face them together, Baum added, as equals. Across the room, Jin Song was demonstrating Earth music to a group of fascinated aliens. Near the refreshment area, General Tay was comparing military training methods with a Threxian commander. Everywhere, humans and aliens were talking, laughing, learning from each other. The council thought they controlled everything, June said quietly, until Earth replied. And what a reply it was, Baum agreed. Not with weapons or surrender, but with art and science and a stubborn insistence on being heard. It is the human way, June said. We talk back, even to powers that seem like gods. We were never gods, Do said firmly. That was our mistake, believing that 20,000 years of history gave us the right to control everyone else's future. And now? June asked. Du gestured toward the gathered representatives. Different species with different histories finding ways to work together. Now we learn a new way. Together. As the celebration continued, June walked to the observation window and looked out at the stars. They no longer seemed cold and distant, but full of possibility. Earth had changed the galaxy not through force or technology, but by offering a different vision of how things could be. The Council had thought they controlled everything. Then Earth replied. And in that reply was not just a refusal to be controlled, but an invitation to create something better together. A new age had begun.